Council, the meeting will come to order. You join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. If it's okay with the council, I'd like to make one adjustment to the agenda for tonight. I'd like to move Anna up to the top. She's got a prior commitment that she needs to be out of here for, so is everybody okay with that? Yes. Okay, Anna?
Thank you.
Anna, thanks for coming. We had some questions on the appointments, and apparently we messed it up, and I messed it up. And
No, it's fine. Like I said, it only happens every 4 to 8 years, so it's always a learning curve as we go through it.
Okay.
I've given Councilman Strong a copy back to 2007. I brought an additional copy if anybody needed, Debbie needed that for her records or whatever, going back through that. At this time, for 2014, we'd like to still have Brett Adams as the county appointment and then request the new appointment starting for January of Nick Thomas.
Okay.
And I know that, I guess your records, the dates are what's in
Yeah.
discretion.
So then a new appointment, did you say for beginning 2015?
No,
No, this year.
actually Brett's runs January 2011 to December 2014 would be his first term. And then if you would so choose, then Nick Thomas would have started his this year and run through 2018.
Okay. Anna, I don't know how our appointment records got so far out of sync with your records. That's the reason I stopped in to call to you and we talked about this thing. So last month, when we appointed Mark Bamer, he had already left the board
Yes.
like a couple of years ago or so, right?
Yes, in 2012.
Okay. So we made a mistake there. So we should have been appointing Nick Thomas. Okay. And our records, do I understand it correctly that our records do not show that we ever appointed Brett Adams?
That's correct. I think you still had Barb White as still serving.
Barb, you say Barb is still serving?
No,
No,
we
haven't.
had it
We
in our
haven't heard,
records.
okay, all right. Then we need to officially correct those two mistakes. Okay. Would you like a motion, Mr. President, to rescind the appointment of Mark Bamer?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion that we rescind the appointment of Mark Bamer to the Fayette County Foundation Board.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to rescind the appointment of Mark Bamer to the county for the Fayette County Foundation. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
I'll leave a copy with Debbie. And then also annually, we have the check for the Fayette County Animal Shelter. And I brought that. It's also $4,000. It supports the mission of the animal shelter. So-
Thank you.
Thank you. We still need to...
Did we still need to make another motion for Nick Thomas then?
We just got to make the appointments for the
Yeah.
Nick Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And don't, if we've not made Brett, we need to make that
Thank you
retroactive,
very
don't
much.
we?
Okay.
Actually, we need to do both of them.
Right,
Yeah. So you want to do Brett and Nick?
yeah.
Yeah, just to be
Rescind the appointment
legal.
of Brett.
You seen it?
He rescinded the appointment
Mark.
of Mark,
Right.
and
You need to appoint Brett and Nick. And Brett's would be retroactive.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we make a retroactive appointment of Brett Adams to the Fayette County Foundation Board beginning January 1st, 2011, and a retroactive appointment of Nick Thomas to the same board, retroactive to January 1, 2014.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to appoint both Nick Thomas and Brett Adams, both retroactively, Brett being from 1/2011 to 12/2014, and Nick Thomas retroactive from 1/2014 to 12/2018. Is there any discussion on this? If not, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Ann, for coming in.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
no problem. Thank you for your time.
Now we'll back up to the minutes of the previous meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes from the previous meeting?
I got a correction.
Okay.
They didn't have me down there being in the meeting, I was here.
Okay.
Maybe you were just really quiet that day.
I may have copied that from another one.
Okay. So with that correction, is there anything else?
I will have the minutes of the 18th with you as soon as I get them ready. I'm in the middle of them, so.
Thank you, David. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as corrected.
I'll make a motion.
We have a
Second.
motion on the floor, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Does anyone have any mail? Debbie has mail.
And I'm really not sure what it means actually. And I'll ask Mary, did you get a copy of a memo from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles about saying that they've miscalculated and that they will wire the difference in 10 days, but we have no clue whether it's going to be $10
Yeah,
or $100,000 or what it is.
it didn't say what for us to look for or anything, so
Yeah.
I
And,
figure we'll have to match it to the reports.
well, okay, and I'll go back to tell the council what this means. We got a letter on February 27th stating that the excise tax distributions from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles were incorrect for all counties, were miscalculated from January 1st of 2010 to January 5th of 2014. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, that was 4 years that they were wrong. They say they have calculated the difference between the proper amounts and the amounts actually distributed, and they intend to wire the difference to us within the next 10 days. Then they followed saying that there would be information on the FTP site where Kathy in my office normally goes and pulls the excise, the details of all the excise. Well, we don't know. I mean, I don't know whether it's going to be $10 or what it's going to be. 4 years worth, but it depends on how much was incorrectly calculated. The bad thing about this is, Kathy is going to have to go through every month and do the same thing she does every month to put the excise tax in and apply it to each township per what their address is. So, I don't know, and I'll let you know once we find out what's going to be deposited. Now, excise is distributed twice a year at settlement time, so I'm assuming once we get instructions, we will probably just go ahead and whatever it ends up being, we will distribute it at spring settlement. So.
Hey Debbie, that all comes from, they had a class action lawsuit against the state for overcharge, is what that comes from.
Well, somebody said they had saw something about that. Did they say how much they
And I haven't heard
overcharged
anything
or?
about it.
Are you talking about the BMV?
Uh-huh.
I think it was just a few dollars for like registration.
But think of all the
Right, it
vehicles
adds
in
up,
Fayette County
yeah.
for 4 years, so, but it was so many bucks per transaction. Okay, so, I don't know, maybe good news.
Good.
Hopefully, they'll send a report that says exactly where the mistakes were.
Yeah, well, you know, the income tax snafu of a couple years ago, so.
Is that it? Okay. County Attorney.
I'm just looking at this ordinance that you guys are gonna be voting on later to transfer funds.
Mhm.
So I speak on it now.
Sure, go ahead.
Is there enough money in the bridge fund? Like, then it's fine, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to let you guys know that it's fine for the statute. And it has to be paid back by the end of this year.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
which it states, so meets the requirements. And that's all I have for now.
Thanks. Moving on to reports. Do any of our committees have anything to report on either budget or wage committees?
On the Wage Committee, we had a brief meeting several weeks ago, just getting started on how to look at the 3 different areas. Have worked on it since, but don't have it ready to distribute yet for the next meeting, so
Okay.
it's in process.
Think you might have some by next month's meeting?
Oops.
Okay, thanks. Dale, did you have anything you wanted to?
As far as budget goes, I have probably 97% of the information we need to put together a report. And if possible, after the meeting, if you and Mark and I can get together and decide on a day or an evening in the next couple of weeks or so to get together and have a budget committee meeting, we can finalize that and wrap it up and have a report to present to the rest of the council.
Not a problem. Okay. Moving on to the next item, unfinished business. There's nothing here. Do we have any? You had something. that's
I
right.
had just a couple housekeeping items. One is, we prepared an amendment to the salary ordinance to add in the jail officer and the road deputy, and then the temporary part-time circuit court employee and the community corrections facility officers, those 144s that you approved at the prior 2 meetings. And this is just so, go ahead and approve this. We're not changing anything other than what you initially approved. The other thing is, the DLGF is, we are actually supposed to be doing resolutions for additional appropriations. And I thought we should do 2014, right? And I prepared 2 of these from the last meeting where you did the 2 additionals, one to Cume Cap and one to Cume Jail. And those are just for your signature. It's not doing anything differently than what you approved at your last meeting. So those will be, if you'll be sure you not wait until those are signed.
Okay. Thank you. Any other unfinished business items to bring forward? If not, we'll move on to new business. We've already heard from Anna. Mr. David Caldwell.
Thank you. I distributed a letter. I hope you all got it last week about what I'm here about. But I'll review it really briefly in case you forgot it. But first of all, the conservation, I'm with the Fayette County Soil and Water Conservation District. And we appreciate the support the county gave to us up through 2012 with a county employee for our staff. And I've been to enough meetings of the council and the commission to have a grasp on what we're dealing with here, and I understand that things had to be done, so they were. But moving on, the Indiana Soil Conservation Board operates under the Indiana Department of Agriculture, and they are aware of what our situation here is also. And they've gone through a series of thought processes about what can be done, and what they're proposing right now is that they put a state employee, a conservation specialist. This would be somebody with some pretty serious talent in doing what we need to do in this area, to work with Fayette and Union counties and focus on them. And they would supply this person for a 3-year period, and they'd work just with us, Fayette and Union. I'm not sure that it came out clearly that we're talking about the two. They see, Tom, you had talked to me about, is there a way we can combine resources to conserve some money? And they think that way too. So they want to have some districts working together, and we're Union and Fayette's a pretty natural combination. This person would be a state employee. They'd be based in the office that we have been using there on Park Road in the fairgrounds. Even though they'd be working with Union County, that's where they'd be based. The Union County staff person is there now. Union County supplies a staff person part-time, 1.5 days a week. So he's already there now. Merle Moyer, in case you know him, he's a Fayette County resident, but he does the Union County staff work. The mission of this person will be to expand and focus, push through the various projects that we should be doing from a conservation standpoint here in this county, and something that we have not been very good at, obtain grants. And in a 3-year period, I would expect us to be able to obtain grants that will be strong enough to support this specialist then after that 3-year period is over, so that then they'd be there without the state to provide it, without us supporting it. That's, maybe it's pie in the sky, but it's possible because some other districts do that right now. Okay? To qualify for this, we're going to have to show some support from this county, and that's why I'm here to ask for a $10,000 that the county put $10,000 into this each year to show that we're serious about this too. But something that you may not know about that is if the county donates, but devotes $10,000, up to $10,000 for conservation purposes, the Indiana Clean Water Act funds will match that up to $10,000. So they will provide $10,000 along with that. That would give us $20,000 to work with, and that would be enough for us then to hire a administrative staff person. This is a low-level clerical type person to occupy that office. I'm going to pass out just a little summary of the things we've done this year. And I'm sure they're real good things. Everybody's happy we've done them, but it's not enough. And we'd be able to do a lot more if there was somebody in that office so the door wasn't locked when somebody goes there, and so that the phone gets answered. Because right now, if you go to that office, the door may be locked. And if you call there, you may get an answering machine. And that doesn't help us get our programs out. So that's what I'm hoping to do is, with the $10,000 matching fund from the state, we will be able to sort of hire a staff person and have some funds to push forth some more programs so that we have people there that can make, so that people will realize we're open for business. And that's in addition to the person being provided by the state. A condition will be we'll have to sign a letter of intent. I didn't make a copy of it. We only need one letter of intent, so I just brought a example of what might be, I mean, please feel free to do anything wording-wise you would want to. But the state would have to have something from us indicating we are going to do this. And they'll sign a letter of intent in reverse saying that they're going to do they'll detail what they would be doing to supply this employee. Okay? I hope you can do this. It would be a big help for conservation programs. I've said, I think, that it's hard to show that our conservation programs, the things we do, I think you all agree they're good things, but they don't hit the bottom line that you're having to work with. They don't help the budget. But that's not quite true. It doesn't directly help the budget, but just one little factor about this is the soil productivity factors that are coming into play. And as a guy that has farm ground, I don't like bringing this up, but it's there, and I'm sure it's going to be used. Soil productivity, and our soil productivity goes up, the tax base goes up, and the programs we're pushing for will help improve soil productivity. So that does have a direct effect on the tax base and on our bottom line. It's a long time down the road, of course. That takes a while, but it's there. So I hope you can find a way to support us in this. Like I say, I do understand what you're dealing with, but in the long run, this will pay off. So that's all I got. Any questions?
Is this starting in 2014?
Yes, I would think so.
Okay.
I can clarify that. They have a person in mind, but naturally there's got to be some bantering back and forth about whether we're going to support it. The Union County already is. Now this would be a person working for Union and Fayette County. So Union County is already satisfactorily supporting the program. So we have to kick in. But as for timing, that'll depend on the person they find. We'd rather find the right person than the wrong person quick.
David, did I understand you say that Union County has committed $10,000 a year to this?
In kind. What they do, they support a staff person for a day and a half, and whatever amount of money that is counted toward the contribution. Is counted toward this 10,000. It may exceed the 10. For a day and a half, I doubt it exceeds 10,000. But they also pay for a couple of conservation educators to work their part-time also. And the sum of that is amounted to enough that they get the Clean Water Indiana grant. If they were short of that, the funds are matched up to the point up to the amount that they are putting in. And I say in kind, if we were able to come up with the equivalent of funding, for example, this person's going to need a vehicle, they'll need a cell phone, they'll need a computer, those kinds of things would count also. Okay?
Dave, if we did this, would the person in Union County then be let go, and then this person
No.
would assume?
Oh, no, this will be, the person I'm talking about, the state employee, will be an additional person, and a pretty highly trained person. But the staff person I'm talking about, Union County will keep their person
They'll keep
here.
that person.
What I'll be doing, I would hope, if we get the funding, is hire a clerical type staff person to do a similar job to what Union County's person is doing for at least 3.5 days a week. So we match up, that office is occupied. They would then be working with this state employee that would be placed in that office.
Do you envision this person going back to where Gretchen, sharing the offices up where the Farm Service agents?
Oh, yes, that's where they would be. That's where they'd be.
I guess an in-kind, for instance, if there weren't space up there, a space in the office, or say office equipment, or to help get them set up, like you said, an excess vehicle or a surplus vehicle, or
Yes.
what would
I
qualify?
doubt we got cars laying around just to hand out, but that sort of thing can be used instead of dollars.
So this isn't something you're looking for an answer for today.
Well, if you got one, well, if you got the
Well,
right
I think-
answer,
I think
if
that
you got
maybe
the
the-
right answer today, I'll take it.
I'm sure you would, but
I realize you probably need to consider it.
I think maybe the budget committee maybe needs to talk about that with where we're at and make a recommendation on the deal. What do you think?
Sure, yeah, that's certainly something we should discuss. Looks like there's probably more than one way to whip a cat here with this, David.
The Conservation Board is open to discussion about ways to do it. They want to get something done. And so they're wide open to heading off any direction we need to get it done.
Are you tied to any specific deadlines
No.
on this program?
No.
Okay, well, that would give us all some time to give it some serious thought and consideration, and maybe find some ingenious way of meeting this in-kind obligation without putting ourselves in, overextending ourselves when we know we shouldn't,
I'll be glad to help brainstorm that, and if you need to, I'll make sure that the people on the Conservation Board who really want this to work can visit with you too.
I think that in-kind lifeline is very helpful. It
Yes.
really opens up some doors for us, so we just have to explore what those are and work with you and see what we can come up with and make a recommendation to the council.
Okay.
When it comes to in-kind contribution, we might have to enjoin the commissioners in that discussion also, too. So it involved a part-time personnel,
We'll meet again in 2 weeks. I'll be glad to run this by them too. Is that what you would suggest?
Well, not right at the moment,
Okay.
but it's it's an interesting proposal, and I think it's certainly worth consideration. I'd like to view all the angles of it before I took a definite stance on it. Is there, if we can meet these requirements for a period of 3 years, do I understand this right, that the state will then take that responsibility entirely?
No, we'll have to take it, but my goal is for this person to help us find grants that will take that.
Okay.
That will support that person or a person with that capability, a person that can handle that job.
So it's not a guarantee that,
No.
okay,
Well, it's guaranteed we do 3 years. And that this person has some talent and
Yeah.
capability, but we really haven't done a good job on giving grants. I've submitted for some, but I don't know anything about getting grants. So, but this person, we expect them to know where to go for these things, how to write them up, what kind of things we need to do here that will attract funding like that. And as I say, I know there are some other districts that entirely support some staff members with grants. So it can be done. That's what I would hope to have happen at the end of 3 years. We'd be on that.
okay. Well, would you be willing to give us some time to
Oh, sure.
explore our options on this?
Yeah,
No, it's just.
we can involve us. That's fine. And I'll be glad to, please, you know how to get a hold of me, I think. Please,
I'll let you explain.
let me help out if I can.
Sure, I know how to contact you. If there's any way we can work it out, I'd like to see us help you out.
Good. It'd be good for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell.
Thank you.
Next item is resolution for transfer of funds. Deputy, did you want to speak to that?
Well, our cash balance in county general is getting very low. Our miscellaneous revenues for January and February had been low. Now, we were able to, the money that we had to pay in December for January's insurance on Anthem, they didn't bill us in January, they just kind of balance billed us. So we did have enough, we had enough money in the COIT funds and through the other funds and through the employee contributions to pay that money back, and that was $130,000. We paid back to County General from those funds to make up for that we had to pay out in December. Until we bill for property tax collections, there's not enough there to get anything in the way, really much of an advance draw. You know, the salary alone runs about $110,000 every payday to make payroll. So I think our balance currently was like $237,000 at the end of the day today. So you could, I was concerned about us running too short on funds before the next time you met, not knowing what we will have in the way of miscellaneous revenue this month. So, and then I think there are a few things that we pay annually that you know, some contract items that we pay in January, and we pay for the whole year on some of these maintenance agreements and such. So that kind of made, you know, with a little lower than average miscellaneous revenue and then higher claims as kind of put us in a cash flow position there. So this resolution is to have a temporary loan of $600,000 from the Cube Bridge Fund to the County General Fund to be paid back at the latest by December 31st. This is not anything that other administrations haven't had to do. We have, you know, done this in the past.
I mean, you're fairly certain you'll be able to pay it back once
Yeah, because
there's enough
we'll
credit coming in.
Well, we'll have enough, we will have settlement, property tax settlements in June and December, so.
This is mainly because we don't draw at the proper time, isn't it?
No, we do.
Yeah, but
We
what
have
I'm
May
saying
10th
is
and
the
November
money to
10th.
pay what we gotta pay doesn't come in soon enough to be paid. So we have to kind of take a loan out to cover
Yeah, we're
that
kind
to
of
come back.
rather than sometimes like businesses might be cash short at the end of the year, we're more cash rich at the end of the year
Yeah.
than we are at later times, so.
Now, does this show here, Debbie, that January the 1st, we had $1,139,000 in the general? Is that January the 1st or is
Yeah,
that February
that
1st?
is, that's January 1st,
Yeah.
that's our beginning balance.
So we took a hit of, we spent like $602,000,
Right.
and we have a balance of 228.
As of Friday, we had a balance of $228,229. And that was after we had a payroll on Friday.
Okay, so we had as of February the 28th, we expended $602,000, right? Okay, where's
That's for
the,
month, for the month of February, but the year-to-date is that.
that's what we expended.
Well, no, not in February. It's date span, no. Well, date span meeting. No, she did just do February, yeah. I wondered how she ran the report. Yeah, it's just for
She
February.
ran the report as February.
Any other discussion?
I mean, it's really a transfer, not a loan.
Right.
You're not like taking on money where you're gonna have to pay interest. It's just,
It's a transfer of funds
Funds
from
from
one
the-
fund
yeah.
to the other, yeah.
Do you have a number yet to assign to this resolution, Debbie?
I do, it's 14R-12, 14-R-12.
14-R-12?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'll move that we approve resolution number 14R12.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 14-R-12. Is there any discussion? Now I'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Debbie. Okay, moving on to additionals, County General. Mary?
Basically, what I've been requesting is some extra part-time. I have a really good part-time girl, and I don't want to lose her, so I'd like to give her more permanent hours where we could have each week have a certain amount of hours that she could be there. It would help a lot, especially this time of year. Phone calls are just tremendous. Everybody's doing their taxes and they don't remember where they put their receipt, so we have to look everything up for them. And you know, you miss a lot of calls when we just can't seem to get them all at the same. You know, sometimes we miss them. But I figured up the hours, and with what I asked for the additional, I could have my part-time come in for 25 hours a week, and plus a little extra during tax season for the 3 weeks during tax season that usually is really busy. As I said, she's a really good part-time, and we can't just have part-time that just comes in off and on. We really need somebody that knows the system, and she does, and she's really quick to pick up on the new things that Lois put in for us. So I'm just leaving it up to you. I would appreciate it if I could get some and give her a little more stability where she knows she's got some hours each week. That helps with giving her a schedule to go by, and it helps with us because we can designate certain jobs for her and get more done that way. So,
Is this for the balance of the year?
yes.
How many hours she getting now, Mary?
Right now, I only call her in when I absolutely have to have her.
So that's
Because
approximately what?
you only
Weekly?
gave me $1,500 in part-time.
Is that
And so
weekly or just?
you know, I
every
didn't
week?
run the risk of running out before tax season came.
Okay. So you're not using her now, right?
I used her the other day. She came in for a few days.
So maybe one day a week or something like that?
Oh, no. Really need more than that.
No, but I mean, are you using her now one day a week?
No, she's right now, she's just, whenever I call her, need her, like if we're going to be, you know, I know we're going to be shorthanded, I try to get somebody in there because I hate for Sarah or I, either one, to be there by ourselves for too much of a time period. You know, if it's one day, it's one thing, but, you know, 2 or 3 days if Sarah has vacation or if I have to take off for something, or if I slide down the sidewalk much.
How much did we put in there for part-time help for you?
You only gave me $1,500.
1,500, you haven't spent any of it, right?
I spent a little bit of it this past payroll.
Okay.
I've got 13.
27?
Yeah,
Thus
I've got
she-
1327 left in there.
She used up $172.61 so far this year, according to this report.
Okay.
Um,
You're asking for 25 hours a week, basically?
Yes, I would really like to. I would like to give her something that was more permanent on a steady basis where she knew she'd come in for a certain amount of hours. And I'm sure that it may not be all the time. I mean, you know, if she needs a day off or something for a doctor's appointment or something, and anything that's left in there will just go back in county general. I won't use it all up. I didn't.
Now, $1,500 was not enough, which I think I said at the time of budget hearings that was not going to be enough.
Well, last year, we had to give you an extra $3,000 for part-time, didn't we, Mary? If I
And that
remember
was,
correctly.
and that was, when I had
3,000.
3,000 in there, that was 6,000. But with part-time, I don't mind having the part-time in there. I mean, there's no benefits, and she doesn't need any benefits, so, I mean, there's nothing like insurance or anything like that coming out. So, I would just like to give her a little more steady work so that she knows she's got the job for those many hours and can schedule her life around that too, where instead of just once in a while or in and out and not knowing. I don't want to lose her as an employee because she is really good. And as I said, there's not anybody that works that job needs to know that system, and she knows it. And we're getting new updates all the time, and I want to bring her in another day so she can learn how to do the new parts of it. But for the
Would it be something that, not saying no tonight, but would it be something that we could talk about for the budget, because we're going to meet and have an answer for you at the next meeting?
Well, the problem is I'm getting into tax season. As soon as the auditor gets the abstract done and stuff, we got to get rolling and get the things taken care of. Now, I'm getting estimates and quotes right now on the tax billing and tax statements and things like that, and having it outsourced or doing it in-house. We're looking at both things, and so we got to be ready to do that.
The only reason I asked is because, I think when we went through the budget, we looked at things, we tried to make cuts where we could without impacting. Now, Debbie did bring up the fact that $1,500 wouldn't be enough for you. And I don't know, maybe the council feels ready to make a decision on this right now. I don't know. It's fine for you to decide.
You know,
We do have a reduction in county general coming
If
up.
you, Mary, if we had a 25 hours a week for the next 3 months, would that give us a start?
well, it'd give us a start, but see,
That goes through
that's,
the tax season, right?
I'm wanting to give her more permanence. I mean,
You want her permanent year round.
I want to make sure that, she knows that she's got those part-time hours where she can schedule those things. There's going to be times when she takes off. Her and her husband might go on vacation or whatever. I'll lose her for that time period. So, these hours I may not use all of them, but
What happens if you schedule for the next 3 months for 25 hours a week,
This
let's
is
say? I'm just throwing this out. And then from then
Well,
on, maybe 15 hours a week or something.
it would
like
help
that.
me. But I'm looking at what she would like too, because as I said, she's good help and I don't want to lose her.
I understand.
And the additional is only for $7,245, and that'll take me to the end of the year. And
At 25
as I
hours a
said,
week?
at 25 hours a week. And as I said, if she has a day or two off during that time period, that money is just going to remain in there and come back to county general, so it's not going to.
Can you address that real quick for the council?
Well,
That might help them.
yeah, if you look at this, which I think I gave everybody a copy of, later, it's kind of at the end of the additionals, but you will be hearing to have a reduction to county general and the prosecutor's salary, because we are going to take part of Paul Freed's salary and pay him directly from 40 incentive monies. So we pay him out of there. That saves county general $10,250. So that would be enough to
Question, Mary.
approve this one. So
We had $1,500 in there, and you're asking for $72.45. Would that mean that's a total of $87.45, or do you have the $1,500 included in the $72.45?
I have I have that 1327 that's in my budget already included in there. That's by taking that off and come up with the 7245.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
I included that to cover the whole year.
During the budget, we talked about trying to get a floater person in the courthouse. Would your person possibly, if we did the 25 hours a week, would it be possible to help maybe in the auditor's office to help recoup some of what we're losing in the tax and property tax?
I assume it's a possibility, but I don't know what about
Well,
what governs whether they can work in both offices at the same time. The state would have to say whether they could do that or not. I know some counties do it, But I've also heard that some counties were told to stop doing it because they didn't want somebody in the auditor's office and the treasurer's office at the same time because it's a check and balance.
One of the things we identified there, that through property tax, there's just some people claiming some things that maybe they should be claiming, that if we're able to recoup some of that, that would help our coffers quite a bit. And if you're needing this person for the heavy bulk of the time.
I'm not opposed to
Okay, that would help.
them happening back and forth.
I think that would help.
I'm not opposed to that, no.
Okay, that'd be very appreciative if we could do that, we could work that out, it was within the law.
You know, I know that in the auditor's office, I know that, that they're under as much strain with a missing employee as we are. Because you know, you can see it every day. But, you know, no, I wouldn't be opposed to that if it can work out that way.
So we talked about that as a council to try to find that, and the commissioners were for that too, so we figured how much we could possibly recoup. It was over $1 million something, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe not that much. Well, you know, what would come back to county general, you
Right.
know.
We're picking up the 10,000 from Paul's salary, right?
Mary, you also indicated you were getting quotes for outsourcing this, the Master's Touch, and I know we were very involved. And when we talked about the figures, there was a potential savings of $4,300 plus based on 12 to 13 estimates, and you probably have some additional figures, but I understand the savings could be an additional 3 cents equal to the postage increase.
Well, I have a whole folder full of quotes right now from the different companies that do outsource tax statements for you. SRI is new this year, they're doing tax statements. Every company that I have gotten quotes from have given me a definite cost on postage. The Master's Touch is the only one that did not give me a definite cost on postage. I talked to Jeff Kemper today. He is with the Master's Touch now. He used to be with XRI. He is with the Master's Touch, and he's going to check into that for me and see if they can get a better idea of exactly what the postage, a close idea of what the postage will be. Most of them are running about $4,000 to $4,700 in postage, but the Master's Touch would not give me a definite cost on it.
When we were looking into it last year, there were some additional benefits in going with an outside sourcing, a couple of different ones. Number one, getting your tax statements out to a larger percentage of the people because they check the addresses before they go out. That was just one thing. And the other thing is the ability for all of the receivers of the tax statements to go online and pay. And I do understand that we can do that today, but there's a 3% fee to pay. But the Master's Touch in conjunction with the LAO software allows a person like myself to go in and pay for maybe a $2 fee instead of a 3% fee. And depending upon if you have a $1,000 tax bill, you know, 3% is something you don't just automatically shell out for the ease. But the fact that you could get more and more people to pay online would reduce the burden in your office, especially, you know, that you wouldn't have to close the office, for instance, after you close your May 10th date. So there are several different benefits in addition to the money saved and the part-time person saved.
I have been looking into some of the, for the most part, the people that come into the office and pay are the diehard people who think they have to hand the money over to you. They have to write the check or they have to give you the cash. You'd be surprised the number of elderly people that come in with thousands of dollars to pay because they want to hand it directly to you. They don't want to pay over that line. Most of the ones that want to pay online will go ahead and pay that 2.95% fee, and they have been. And we do get a lot of credit card payments. But for the most part, people would, right now, seem to be mail more or bring it in themselves.
I think it's something that will evolve. I mean, it's just like
I'm
when
sure
you
it will.
begin.
I'm sure it will.
And also the fact that we didn't discuss that ultimately you could email the statements and save the postage and the mailing cost totally. So each year, I understand that there's an additional percentage of more people participate as the younger citizens that are more in tune with the electronic documents. So it's like when you have to start somewhere, kindergarten, you start somewhere and you learn so much and you continue to evolve.
Well-
So I think we would continue. It isn't just the benefit that we would receive this first year, because it'd probably take a great deal to get it done the first year, but the future benefits are something to consider.
I have no problem with, evolving with a better way to accept payments and get payments. Like I said, though, I'm in touch with the guy from the Master's Touch, and we are discussing things, so, but never once has he or Mr. Coate, either one, suggested taking online payments from their viewpoint. They haven't even talked to me about that. So, I haven't discussed it with either one of them about it.
Is that something you could ask him when you're talking?
I am supposed to see him tomorrow, so.
Thank you, I appreciate it. You're coming back and telling us, because quite frankly, I think that's a huge benefit. And
The problem with emailing statements and things like that is Fayette County is not set up with a good system for their Wi-Fi and their stuff. We have Wi-Fi at home, I have it, but sometimes it's very slow, and sometimes it's very, it dies on you and then it comes back, and so we don't really have good service out in the county. So, and I know some of the southern parts of this county, it's hard to get a cell phone tower to get you, let alone get an internet service.
right, but it's my understanding that it's an optional thing, and it's only if the people want to get it, receive it by email. So you wouldn't automatically try to send it to those folks that don't have email or have slow service, but those people that have reliable service. So many people are getting them on their phone today. Their email's on their phone. So they don't even have to deal with the Wi-Fi. They let Verizon take care of it, so. I mean, it's constantly changing. I'm amazed at the business that's transacted with, the smartphones today. And if it can save the county money, if we could save $4,000 last year and $4,500 the next year and continue to get more savings each year, I would like to hear about those possibilities, please.
Mary, I want to commend you and tell you I appreciate you taking the initiative to look at ways to save money as an elected official in the department head. That means a lot. I mean, even if it's $4,000, like Shirley said, that all adds up, because when we're doing crunching numbers in budget time, we're looking to cut $4,000, and it would be nice to not have to worry about that. So I appreciate you taking the initiative
I have
to do
been
that.
on both sides here, so I know what you guys have to look at. I know what the offices need, and to run efficiently. So, I kind of have both sides, a little knowledge of both sides, but I am looking at some things. And another thing that I was just brought to my attention the other day, we have so many mobile home permits, and we do not charge for that. And I found out that we can be charging for those mobile home permits, and it's a source of income. It's a small source of income, because you can only charge, $5, $10, but when you get a lot of those people coming in to get those permits, that's a little bit anyway.
Yeah, no, we need to help.
So I got a copy of an ordinance that I will try to get together and kind of give it to you guys to let you look at it and see what you think about that.
Appreciate it.
There's not a whole lot that we collect. We do in our office that we could set a fee for. Mobile home permits is about one anyway.
Well, I think your willingness to work with us and maybe farm out your person when they're not busy with work with Debbie, I think is going to be a huge help, and we'll be able to recoup that and then some. So I don't know if anybody has any further questions for Mary, if we want to make a motion, if we want to discuss it any further.
Just a couple of questions. Mary, I'm still not sure. I know we started this discussion last year about outsourcing the processing of the statements. Now, are they going, is that going to happen this spring or not?
I'm looking into it. I have got quotes from LD Master Mailers, I've got quotes from Performa, I've got quotes from SRI. Basically, they're all running about the same. And I also got I have leftover envelopes from last year. I have a few things that we can use up this year, that could use up this year, so it's not to waste inventory. So I got a price on if we did it in-house also. Let's see. Performa, they do a lot of Lau counties, so they are set up to go ahead and process with Lau. I had one company that just, they have never worked with a Lau county, so they didn't have the means of extracting all the information and that, so they wouldn't even give me an estimate, but they did give me another company, the Performa company, so I could get an estimate for them. So I'm in the process of going through them and trying to find out which is the best way to go and see what's the cheapest and see how it works. So
You're awesome.
not quite.
We need everybody to help wherever we can. Appreciate it. Any more questions?
Well, I can only say that if Mary wants to guarantee a part-timer in her office 25 hours a week for the remainder of the year, that pretty basically puts your office back to a 3-person staff the way it was before, doesn't it?
Well, not quite, but close. But we're looking at no benefits or anything like that. She won't be paid any holidays. So, you know, I didn't take the holidays off of that, so, you know, that would stay in there. So,
Mary, what if we appropriate part of this money now to get you through, let's say, the end of May, which is your rush time, like you say you need to? Like one of the council members mentioned about letting the budget committee kind of look at it and then explore the possibility of this floater we're talking about. But give an appropriate part of this money for right now just to get you through this rush you got right now going on, which gets you through what, the end of May, well, May 10th is everything's supposed to be in by.
well,
Would that help you?
that would be helpful, but it wouldn't really solve the dilemma because I want to reassure her that she's got hours coming. And
I understand what you're saying, but.
I mean,
And we would all like to have that, Mary, but quite frankly, the financial shape that the county is in, I don't know that we can, especially on a part-time position that has been discontinued. Like I said, we would all like to have a job that we feel sure of is going to be there tomorrow, but the situation just gets more dire instead of, we don't, any of us know, we're all optimists, but it'll eventually turn around and start going the other way. But quite frankly, the revenue has gone down. And I don't know that we have any expectations that it's going to increase this year.
well, but as I said, I'm not asking for full-time, I'm not asking for an employee with benefits, I'm just asking to be able to tell my part-time girl that she's got steady hours coming. And that's, you know, that's what I would like to have. And that's what she needs, is just some steady hours.
I think what I'm interpreting some of the council is that we want to give you something, but I think we want to have some time to talk about this too. And what I just discussed with you about making a floater person, with you having, you know, to be available, but when it's slow, to help recoup some of the tax dollars that we're not being able to do now. So I think that's kind of what they're leaning towards, if I'm correct. They're not saying no, but just to get you through for at least for a month.
You know, I will take whatever you guys can offer me.
Mark?
I just want,
Yeah.
I would like to give, you know, just give her some security.
I understand.
I would like to move to approve this motion, but to change the amount requested to $3,000, because we worked hard in the budget to cut it. If we keep giving it back, then we've wasted our time. This will give her enough money to get her through the tax part of the year, and give us more time to look at it.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to amend the dollar amount from $7,245 to $3,000. We have a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Okay, we have 5 ayes and 1 no. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Next item is the highway garage. I was just kidding, I haven't heard anything about the highway garage, so. Prosecutor's bad check fund. We have a additional here for requesting the balance of the bad check line on 12/31/13 to be reappropriated since the amount reverted back to county general at the end of the year. And the requesting amount of $1,028.64. Is there any discussion?
That's just money off bad checks that goes to people.
It's already in the fund.
I'll move to approve it.
I'll second it.
There's been a motion to approve the additional as mentioned. The seconded. If there's no further discussion, I'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries.
You might, while Megan is up here, she's also here to speak to the prosecutor 4D incentive and to the reduction in county general in the prosecutor's office.
We'll do that. So we'll do that item. Well, you hit it in order anyways. That's the 9302.
Where's that?
Is that the $93.02?
No, $10,250. She wants to appropriate and pay part of Paul Freed's
Oh, that's
salary
on that
from 40.
Okay, that's the last one.
And then to reduce county general by that same amount.
Okay. So we have a reduction of appropriation request for Fayette County from the prosecutor's office in the amount of $10,250.
And an increase in the prosecutor 4D incentive in that same amount.
And an increase in the 4D incentive in the same amount.
Yeah, these two
Okay.
kind of match up.
Any discussion?
Was Megan going to speak to this?
Do you have
Yes.
questions? I mean, we used to, I think prior to last year, County General paid for Paul's salary, and then at the beginning of the year, the next year, the following year, we reimbursed County General that money. And then we started working with Malcon, and when they were doing our books, that's not really in accordance with how we should be paying him. So we talked to the guy that we work with at Malcon, he just suggested, as opposed to basically taking the money and putting it back into County General as a lump sum, we just pay him directly out of our incentive fund, rather than having to make that big transfer. So it doesn't, I mean, it's not really, it's just moving money as opposed to actually adding or subtracting anything.
So that part of his salary would just flow straight through 4D.
We actually paid him that way, this way last year.
Yeah.
For the first time last year, we paid him, I think from March on maybe, we paid him through our incentive fund as opposed to reimbursing County General.
I can't remember and I can't get into that from here,
Yeah.
so I'll take your word for it.
And then if we make this change, then we won't have to worry about including that part of his salary in the county's general fund.
Right, and then next year, we will hopefully remember to put it in the budget just to increase our incentive budget to include it, because this year we just forgot, since last year was the first time we had done it, so. We would adjust our budgets this year so that I wouldn't have to come back and talk to you about it next year, because it would just be taken care of during budget time.
Well, it makes sense because it sounds like a much simpler system.
Just pay them directly instead of reimbursing and,
Right.
yeah, I think so.
It ought to reduce some of the some of the paperwork in the auditor's office.
Hopefully.
Well, and then you never have to worry about forgetting to
If
do
I
the
forget to,
reimbursement,
right.
you know, I mean, because then we're kind of scrambling at the end of the year, oh, did we get that done? And
Sure.
technically, I don't even think we have to appropriate.
Right, incentive money
40 monies.
we spend incentive money how we want. I don't think you guys have to appropriate it, so.
But this is just kind of, you know, so you'll know what's going on with, especially with salary funds, so. This is a win for county general.
Okay. Are there any more questions? Discussion? Motion?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion to reduce the reduction, to approve the deduction for $10,250
And the additional for
and the additional for $10,250 for the 4D.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second the
It's
motion.
been motioned and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries, ayes have it. Next is the highway garage, the highway.
And garage after that.
Okay.
I've got an additional in for 15,000 for overtime. With the weather the way it's been, I've depleted all my overtime money, and I've already used $11,000 out of my part-time money to compensate for overtime. And if with the 15,000, provided we don't get anything worse the rest of this month, we'll be all right. It'll leave me money there for the rest of the summer and into next winter, and possibly move some back into part-time.
On this, on your here, it says the budget balance of January the 1st was $2,000.
Well, that's a budget balance for overtime was 20,000 since the 1st of January. And we've been,
And you spent 20,000?
we've spent 31,000 since
31,000.
before Christmas. Because part of this paid for some of last year's money. We didn't get money transferred over. We didn't get it encumbered over out of last year because we didn't have it in yet, knowing what we was gonna need.
Yeah, because they run, their payroll runs a week behind
Yeah.
everybody else.
What's killed us is, it seems like all the overtime's been on Sundays, which is double time.
We have spent $31,000 since December
$31,000.
on overtime.
And we're not done yet. Because I've got time for this Sunday that had been, I'm actually, I think $100 and some in the hole right now. And what we've got Sunday will go on top of that. Because we was out Sunday, because of the ice and snow.
Yeah, Russ, I looked at my report. You know, we appropriated 20,000 for overtime. And then we had an additional of 11,000.
That's what I transferred out of part-time into.
Yeah, okay, that was a transfer of
Yeah.
11,000. So,
I've just about depleted my part-time money, trying to make up for the overtime.
yeah. And everybody knows you've had reason for the overtime this year.
It's been a strange one.
Okay, now is this going into the overtime?
Yes, this is going into
Line
overtime.
item.
Yes. What I figure, Russ, if we get through this month without having much more, I'll still have overtime through the summer months, and then I gotta start out next year. But I can allow for that and take a little of that and put it back into my part-time. If I don't have to use it this month. I ain't gonna guarantee nothing the way the weather's been. Cause this, like I said, this has been a strange one.
I make a motion that we approve the additional appropriation request for $15,000 for overtime funds for the county highway department. We all know we've been out dodging through drifts and what have you for months. Understand, we appreciate your keeping the roads safe.
We have a motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the additional for overtime for the highway department to the amount of $15,000, and it's been seconded. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. Courthouse operating fund, additional for that.
Do you want me to speak to it, or the
Sure.
Dale can? You were the one that took it to those commissioners.
Just wanted to make sure.
And they did approve their capital plan this morning and included this amount in the capital plan. They,
Okay, well, the,
they were real pleased with
council last month made a request to the county commissioners that they include $237,873 in their 2014 capital plan to fit with the budget that the council set for courthouse operating expenses for 2014. We did that before they actually had their 2014 plan in place. They adopted that this morning, and they have met our request. Thankfully, they have. I've got to give them a lot of credit for being cooperative with the edit funds and in their capital plan. So that's what this is for. And unless you want to change your mind and turn out the lights in the courthouse and the jail, why, we might as well go ahead and accept this generous help that we're getting from the commissioners and approve this.
I want to go on record saying that I appreciate the commissioners doing this. We put them behind the 8 ball on this thing. I think the intent was to talk to them before we approved our budget this year, or this past year, and we didn't get that done for whatever reason. And I appreciate them working with us to approve these funds and appropriate them out of the edit fund so that we could take care of the utilities and so forth. Is there any further discussion on this?
I'll move we approve this additional request from the courthouse operating fund and the commissioners edit 2014 capital plan.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve the Commissioners Edit Operating Fund for the amount $237,873. It's been seconded. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Karen and Trudy will thank you.
Patron
Now they can
concerns.
continue to work.
We have no patron concerns.
You did everything I needed.
If there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to, Mark, did you?
I'll move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn, we have a second, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries, meeting adjourned.
You have stuff to sign.